Hello and thanks for taking the time to watch this video, which is all about Yorkshire Terrier breeders and why finding the right breeder is so vitally important to ensure that you end up with a healthy, happy and well-trained Yorkie. Now before I continue, just a short little intro about the website you can see on the screen, www.yorkshire-terrier-world.com/yorkie-guide.htm. Quite a mouthful, but it's worth the time to write that down now and key that into your browser, because you'll actually find a wealth of information there. You'll find everything you need to find out about Yorkshire dog itself, whether you want to actually buy a dog, whether you're worrying about things like grooming and what to feed it, and other health issues. Everything you need to find out about the Yorkshire is actually there. So write that address down and let's continue, shall we? And as I've said, finding a good Yorkshire Terrier breeder is absolutely vital, because it really makes the step of actually ensuring that you end up with a healthy, happy and well-trained Yorkie an easy one. Let's continue. Now actually being a Yorkshire Terrier breeder itself requires a certain level of commitment and lots of hard work on behalf of the breeder. And some breeders don't actually want to put the time in. They don't actually want to spend the time, and as a result, because they're not putting the time in, the Yorkies that you end up with if you actually happen to buy a dog from one of these breeders may end up having considerable health and behaviour issues. Now obviously that's not something we want to happen, so the reason for this video was to actually outline some of the things that you can look out for, so that in your own mind that you actually are buying a Yorkie from a breeder who's doing the right thing. Now the good breeders, the professional Yorkshire Terrier breeders, they've got a genuine love for their animals. They breed them responsibly and in the best interests of the individual animals, as well as breeding them as a whole. As well as the breed as a whole. So it's important, as I've outlined a couple of times now, that we actually find a breeder who's doing that. After all, reputation is everything for a breeder. The breeder's reputation is based on the ability of the puppies they sell to develop into champions of the Yorkie breed. And that's really what they're trying to do. They're trying to get a name out there for themselves, and they're trying to actually to build that up and get a reputation, so of course they can sell more down the track. Which brings me to a very interesting point, and that's one of ethics. Whilst I've talked about the fact that it actually does require a great deal of hard work, as in most things, there are those who consider themselves breeders who perhaps aren't, but they're actually more interested in making money than raising dogs. So when looking at buying a Yorkie dog, as I've said, the best advice is buyer beware. You really need to check out your breeder and try and satisfy yourself that they're not just in it to make a quick dollar, but they're actually in it for the right reasons, and that's to produce good, healthy dogs, which is going to benefit yourself obviously when you purchase it, and then the breed as a whole. Advancing the breed is obviously very important. Breeders who are concerned about this and who care for each of the puppies they have will be more than happy to answer any questions you may have before you actually proceed with the purchase. And that's, after all, a good way to actually find out as to how a breeder works, is by asking them the questions. And let's get on to these questions. First of all, contract for purchase. Very important to know this. Do they actually offer a contract? Is there some sort of legal form that they actually put together that clearly outlines and guarantees the health of the animal, of the Yorkie, and a refund or a return policy if it's not the case? Now, the less reputable breeders probably won't offer that, or they'll mention them and say that that's actually not important, but it is important. The reputable ones, the people who are in there, professional Yorkshire Terrier breeders, will actually offer you a contract. So question number one is to ask them, have you got a contract for purchase? Another interesting question to ask them, does the breeder know, or has he or she worked with both the parents of the puppy? Very important to try and trace back and trace back several generations and actually see whether can actually show you where this puppy come from, who its parents were, and whose parents its parents were, and so on, going back over time. Very important. The professional breeder will actually have that information on hand, because they're doing it professionally. They'll have those records. So certainly ask those questions and see what they can do to provide you that information. Can you see other animals in the kennel? And is the kennel clean, well maintained and animal friendly? A very basic thing you'd think, but you'd be surprised at the number of sub-professional breeders who don't offer these facilities. They either won't let you see any other animals, so you've got no idea for yourself, whether they are in good health, or the kennel itself can be dirty, not very well maintained, and not animal friendly. Very important to actually check that and see that they're doing the right thing there. Can you see other adult dogs and puppies that the breeder owns socialise together? Very important to actually have a look and just see these animals, the Yorkies, actually, socialising and seeing how they get on. Are they getting on well together? Generally a sign of a professional breeder who has actually got the dogs, well trained and actually working well together. Limited handling is another one. Does the breeder limit the amount that you can handle the pups? Very important with the young Yorkie is to make sure that they're not handled too much by too many people, prior to actually being sold. So a professional breeder would actually be limiting the amount that they can handle, that they can be handled. Does the breeder have any qualifications, or are they recognised at a local, state or national level, by a breeding organisation or a club? Again, if they've got some documents and so forth to print it up on the wall, or they can actually show you that they've actually been recognised, it's probably a good sign that they're actually a professional breeder. Refund rights. Actually, just before I go back on there, on the previous screen I talked about how often does the breeder allow the female male to breed and reproduce. Very, very important there. It's good to know actually what they're what they actually offer there. In terms of refund rights, is there a guaranteed full refund for the first week or so if things don't turn out? For whatever reason, Yorkie may not work out, and you may want to actually return it and perhaps you get your money back. Do they offer this ability? Very, very important to actually ask the question up front before you actually get to the point of actually taking your Yorkie away. So I hope you enjoyed this short video, which gave you a little bit of an overview on some of the questions you can ask your Yorkshire Terrier breeder. As I mentioned before, please take the time to write down this website, www.yorkshire-world.com/yorkie-guide.htm. Again, I realise it's a very long internet address, but it's worth the time to actually visit that site, and you'll find all sorts of information relating to a Yorkshire Terrier. Anything you need to know about grooming, training, whether you're thinking of buying a Yorkshire Terrier, some of the pitfalls, some of the things you need to look out for, some of the diet options. Really what we're trying to do is actually show you how to avoid the mistakes that many owners have gone through in the past, and actually have lots of fun and have a good time with your dog. Thank you very much for reading, and I look forward to seeing you on the website. Bye for now.